Quality is something every company strives for and is oftentimes very difficult to achieve. Complications concerning efficiency and quality present themselves every day in business, whether an important document cannot be found or a consumer finds a product not up to their expectations. How can a company increase the quality of its products and services? The answer is ISO 9000. Good afternoon everyone. Together with my group mates, we will discuss about ISO 9000 or Quality Management System. What is International Organization for Standardization or ISO? It is an international non-governmental organization made up of national standard bodies. It develops and publishes a wide range of proprietary, industrial, and commercial standards, and is composed of representatives from various national standards organizations. The organization's abbreviated name, ISO, is not an acronym. It derives from the ancient Greek word isos, meaning equal or equivalent, because the organization would have different acronyms in different languages. The founders of the organization decided to call it by the short form ISO. Member organizations collaborate in the development and promotion of international standards for technology, scientific testing processes, working conditions, societal issues, and more. ISO and its members then sell documents detailing these standards. The ISO plays an important role in facilitating world trade by providing common standards among different countries. These standards are intended to ensure that products and services are safe, reliable, and of good quality. For the end user and consumer, these standards ensure that certified products conform to the minimum standards set internationally. The ISO has been credited with setting more than 20,000 standards, ranging from manufactured products and technology to food safety, agriculture, and healthcare standards. In some cases, ISO is used to describe the product that conforms to an ISO standard as a result of the ubiquity of the standards. For example, the speed of film or the sensitivity of a photographic film to light is referred to by its ISO number. ISO has three membership categories. The first one is member bodies. There are currently 121 standard bodies from each country. As a full member, they participate in vote and ISO technical and policy meetings. They can sell and adopt ISO international standards nationally. The second category is correspondent members. There are 39 correspondent members. They do not have their own standards organization. These members can only observe ISO technical and policy meetings. Correspondent members can also sell and adopt ISO international standards nationally. The third category is subscriber members. ISO has 4 subscriber members. These are countries with small economies. These members keep up to date on ISO's work but cannot participate in it. They do not sell or adopt ISO international standards nationally. More than 20,000 standards have been set by ISO, covering everything from manufactured products and technology to food safety, agriculture, and healthcare. The beginning of ISO 9000. In London in 1946, 65 delegates from 25 countries meet to discuss the future of international standardization. In 1947, ISO officially comes into existence with 67 technical committees. The roots of ISO 9000 series date back to World War II, when the Ministry of Defense in Britain decided to implement a set of standards to reduce mistakes and the resulting accidents in the manufacturing of munitions or military weapons. The ISO 9000 document has undergone many revisions since its beginning to ensure that it is as efficient and relevant as possible. Its first revision was in 1994. This review focused on trying to clear up the indistinct elements of the 1987 version as well as place a greater concentration on quality assurance through prevented actions. The standard underwent another revision in 2008. This revision remained fairly consistent with the 2000 version. The main objective during this modification was to clarify the existing requirements and to design the document to work in congruence with ISO's other management standards. The most current version of the standard is ISO 9001-2015, completed and released towards the end of 2015. The most significant change to ISO 9001 is that the entire document is now focused around the idea of risk-based thinking, making risk management a central feature of the standard. The number appearing after ISO classifies the standard. All standards within the ISO 9000 family refer to quality management. These are the series of ISO 9000 standards. First, we have ISO 9000. ISO 9000 explains fundamental quality concepts and provide guidelines for the selection and application of each standard. Second, ISO 9001. It is about the model for quality assurance in design, development, production, installation, and servicing. ISO 9002 is about the model for quality assurance in the production and installation of manufacturing systems. ISO 9003 is about quality assurance in final inspection and testing. ISO 9004 guidelines for the application of standards in quality management and quality systems. ISO 9000 focuses on the key concepts that make up a quality management system. There are really only two sections to this standard: fundamentals and vocabulary. The first half of this standard explains basic quality management principles, while the second half is a dictionary of quality management terms, which includes notes or examples for additional clarification. ISO 9000 helps organizations interpret the guidelines or requirements of the ISO 9000 series, that they may be applied properly. ISO 9000 and ISO 9004 are guidance standards. They describe what is necessary to accomplish the requirements outlined in standards 9001, 9002, and 9003. So let's talk about the ISO's best-known standard, ISO 9001. The first three sections are largely introductory, containing general information about the organization's goals, as well as references for ISO terms and definitions. Section 4 deals with trying to understand the organization in its current context. Context in this sense refers to internal and external issues that could impact strategic direction, as well as a list of interested parties and stakeholders. Section 5 typically includes a list of relevant persons along with their roles and responsibilities, and how they factor into the implementation of the QMS. This section should clearly outline commitment of management to ensure customer satisfaction, the specific definition of the quality policy, and the various roles and responsibilities relevant to the QMS throughout the organization. In Section 6, the function of this section is to clearly outline risk and opportunities for the implementation of the QMS, as well as clear objectives for improvement and the plans to achieve those objectives. In Section 7, support essentially focus on the management and allocation of resources in the design and implementation of the QMS. It includes human resources, buildings, infrastructure, work environments, organizational knowledge, monitoring, and tracking resources. Section 8 deals with everything relating to the planning and deployment of products or services within your organization. It includes requirements for planning, product feature requirements, product design, review, and any additional service-related operations.
So for the selection of standard. So for quality standards, there are different types of ISO quality standards. Those quality standards can be classified as primary, secondary, and support standards. and are generally defined as follows. The first, the primary standard, is the quality requirements for external quality assurance and quality management guidance. For the secondary standard, provide guidance for the selection and application of primary standard. And last, the support standard is provide quality, technology, and support in the development and implementation of quality. So for ISO 9000 requires that documentation be made of procedures for performing work that affects the product or service quality. It also requires the work be performed in accordance with the documentation. In addition, records of activities should be retained as evidence of compliance and to compare actual results with what was planned. Lastly, a program should be in place to improve any inefficiencies identified. In reality, this should be occurring on a routine basis in order for the company to utilize past performance to more accurate estimate future projects. For classes of ISO 9000 quality system. In quality management principles, there are 7 basic elements. First is the customer focus, leadership, engagement of people, process, approach, improvement, evidence-based decision making, and relationship management. For the benefits of ISO 9000 quality system. For the benefits of ISO 9000, beyond meeting project owners or prime contractors requirements, certification can produce benefits on the contractor can enjoy. This includes the higher perceived quality of customer service, improved customer satisfaction, competitive edge over non-certified competitors, increase market share, greater quality awareness, improve employee morale, and better documentation. And these are the benefits of ISO 9000.
There are many different types of ISO standards, but it is hard to determine and understand which is fit for industry and business. I will discuss 10 of the most popular ISO standards that can be implemented in an organization.
ISO 9001 Standard for General Organizational Quality Management Systems. This standard details on how to put a quality management system in place to better prepare your organization to produce quality products and services. Over 1 million ISO certifications had been given out in 170 countries according to ISO Survey Management System Standard Certification. Next is ISO 14001 Environment Management Systems. This ISO is a family standard relating to the environment. It establishes requirements for an environmental management systems. It has over 3,000 certifications in 171 countries worldwide. Next is ISO 27001 Information Security Management Systems. This family standards concerns information technology with the goal of improving security and protecting company assets. ISO 27001 has over 22,000 certifications worldwide. ISO TS 16949 Automotive Industry. ISO TS 16949 refers to automotive industry, which is TS stands for Technical Specification. Prior to the standard, suppliers were asked by car manufacturers to standardize to the regulation of each individual country, which often led to suppliers needing multiple certifications for the same vehicle. The standard has over 50,000 certifications worldwide. ISO 22000 Food Safety Management Systems. This standard is focused on the development and implementation of a food safety management system and can help any organization that works in a food chain. With over 26,000 certifications, ISO 22000 is one of the more common standards that can be applied on its own or integrated with ISO 9001. Next is ISO 50001, Energy Management Systems. One of the newest standards, the energy standard ISO 50001, is nevertheless becoming increasingly important. Released in 2011, the standard is meant for companies to put in place an energy management system. Although it is not required, but it has over 5,000 certifications. Next is ISO 13485, which is Medical Device Standard. The Medical Equipment Standard ISO 13485 is a single document and does not belong to any family of ISO standards. It puts a quality management system in place for the production of medical devices and equipment, and also it is very specific in health industries. It is a regulated standard and has over 25,000 certifications worldwide. One of the most important ISOs is ISO 31000, which stands for Risk Management. It is very important for an organization in any field to be able to manage risk effectively. ISO 31000 puts in place a risk management system just to do that. It was created in 2009 as an attempt to create a universally recognized program to reduce risk. One of the new ISO standards is ISO 26000, Social Responsibility. It focuses on social responsibility and was released in 2010. Although it cannot be certified to, but rather provides guidance on how businesses can operate in socially responsible way. This certification is used in over 60 countries. And lastly, the ISO 20121, Event Sustainability Standard. It is the newest standard on the list. ISO 20121 started in 2012. It is relevant to all members of the event supply chain, from organizers to caterers, and assists these organizations in reducing their environmental footprint while still being in a financial success.
So that's all for our report. Thank you for listening.